Hi, I'm here with Ajit, and Ajit is the founder of Predictus BioSciences, and really excited to have this conversation today with Ajit because they're doing something very significant in the medical field in regards to cancer and how cancer is approached and treated. And, I have to say, Ajit, that you have a very impressive background, ranging from the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute to working at Harvard Medical School, correct? And then I believe currently you're assistant professor and work at Boston University Medical Center. So some highly wonderful accolades right there with your background and what you've done. So tell us a little bit what led you into pursuing the medical field and a little bit about that background.
So thank you very much, Jerry. It's a great pleasure and honor to be with you to discuss some of the work that we have done in the past, and that has manifested itself into a situation where we can bring it to the clinic to help the patients. And now it looks real. When we started some 20 years ago, we started with a basic biology, understanding of basic biology, but we slowly followed the data. We never worked on the hypothesis. We worked on the data slowly. We built the story brick by brick, and that is what we believe can reach to the clinic. So I was very lucky to get trained at Dana-Farber Cancer Institute in 90s, early 90s and late 90s up to late 90s. It's a very exciting time of cancer research. The late 90s were where we first got a targeted drug, and we learned how to translate the power of molecular biology understanding into the clinic. So that came right on the face of the scientists that we can do it, we can change it. So that was a big turning point, and now we have hundreds of new drugs and a lot of things are going on in the field. So from Dana-Farber, I moved to BU, Boston University Medical School, where I started the lab, and we did the basic biology there. And more recently, I have now set up the companies very separately from BU. It is a BU spin-off company. And what we are trying to do is we have already done the basic biology. We have done most of the translational component of it. And we have also validated our science, or we sometimes call it our biomarker, into patient population. So what we are saying is we have completely de-risked this product. The technology is very robust. This is used extensively across the globe, called immunohistochemistry, is a test. The test will tell whether a particular class of drug will work in a particular patient or not. And this class of drug is used extensively right now as we speak. It is an old drug. The most exciting part is this drug is now used in a new class of drug as a payload. It's a very exciting area in cancer research right now, where a new class of drug is being. So I started with a drug which was already in the clinic, but now suddenly I am in a position where I can see that in future, this drug will be even more critically useful and important, and my biomarker will have a cementing effect on this across the spectrum of the old drug and the new drug. So what we have done is we asked a simple question, that how the target of this drug is regulated in cell. What it does when we treat the patient or the cells with this drug, what happens to this target? So we looked into the target, how it is behaving in the response to the drug. We realized that we are finding out something that can be brought into the clinic. So it took almost 4 or 5 years to understand that what this drug is doing into the cell. Other people were also trying one approach, second approach, third approach. Mine approach were somewhere second approach or third approach. You can put it anywhere, but the approaches were different. And I got lucky that my approach went all the way to a product line. Their approach, which they started to understand, or some of them took a shortcut to generate large scale data and quickly ask the question that what will happen if we do this study. What we did is we started slow and asked that, okay, we will take from the scratch and build slowly. And ultimately, it turned out that we were lucky and we were patient enough to build this in a way that now it looks real. Some of our other competitors basically fell short. Some of their product not reach, and they are not in a position to bring it to the clinic. And I know the field for a long time, and so I know where we stand. So why I am here? So one of the questions that is asked is why I am here to start up a steroid. The company started 10 years ago, and BU has invested in this one. Other angel investors have done. We have not gone to the route of the big investor group. My burn rate was low, and because a lot of work was done at my lab. So we have slowly built it on and moved the product, but we are falling short to go to the clinic, so to say. We are also right now talking to diagnostic companies because they are the one who will buy and run basically the sale and this and that. But right now we are reaching out to them. So the reason we are here is we are literally looking for a stopgap funding, some funding to take us from here to an exit. Or if I get more funding, perhaps I can do some more work, scientific work, not to prove my point, but to extend the horizon of this test. So far, we have tested in colorectal cancer and gastric cancer. We are in the middle of testing in pancreatic cancer because all these tumor types, all these cancers are treated with this class of drug. So this is the basic reason that we are looking for some funding to bring this to a situation where a diagnostic company comes in. We are also trying to reach to some pharma partners, and that I can tell you a little later on. So this I consider as a bridge fund so that I can bring this to the exit, basically.
Sure. Ajit, it's obvious you're very passionate about this. And just real quickly, how did this start? Did you wake up one day back in high school or college and just say, I want to go into medicine and help cure or treat cancer? I mean, just quickly, how did you make that step and that decision to go into this field initially?
Yeah, so this one was when I did my master's in India, back home in India. I was trying to understand myself that which direction I want to go. But in India, everything is based on the written test, right from college admission to a fellowship. So I was kind of looking for my future plans and what I want to really do. And I did some try here and there, but one of the tests that I gave was a fellowship for doing PhD, and that was a national level test. And I did qualify to get the scholarship, basically, or fellowship, what they used to call it, junior research fellowship. And when I got the junior research fellowship, I said, yeah, that's it. I'm just going to do my research. And ended up doing most of my work in a very good institute in New Delhi called All India Institute of Medical Sciences. I was not a graduate student from there, but I did most of my work there. And from there, I met one of my senior had been to Dana-Farber. So when he came to visit us, he talked to my boss there, and he realized that I might be a good candidate to come to Dana-Farber in the same group of lab. It was a big lab in Dana-Farber, like 40 people working. It was a very high pressure and high pressure lab where people used to work 14 hours, 6 days, something like that, So, and that really motivated me, and as I mentioned, that 90s were the phenomenal time, basically, So that really gave me the steroid that I was really looking for. And that is still driving me.
Great. Well, that's fantastic. And that's great to see. Obviously, you're in the medical science field, and there's a lot of technology, medical data, medical sciences behind this. For the normal layperson, a lot can get lost in the translation, terminology, and all of that. So if you could maybe share with us just a quick elevator talk as far as, here's what the problem is, here's how we're solving it. Here's who our team is. Here's how we're taking it to market. Just kind of, if you can put that all in a simple nutshell, maybe in a minute or so, just kind of so people can get a real clear understanding, especially investors, of what you're doing in a quick synopsis, and then we'll dive into that a little more.
Yes. So as I mentioned, right now there are targeted drug, there are chemo drug, there is radiation, there is immunotherapy now. And on top of that, there is a new drug class of drug coming that is called antibody drug conjugate. So there are a wide spectrum of drug available to the patient. So we imagine that we can cure them all, but that's not the case. The problem in the problem tumor types, for instance, pancreatic tumor, the patient average progression-free survival is like 6 months. So there are many difficult cancers, including colorectal cancer, which is big cancer, some of the prostate cancer patient. So the problem now we have realized is this, that we have a targeted drug. We have chemo, we have immuno, but we do not know how to identify a patient, whether he or she will respond to therapy or not. So that was called precision medicine. And during Obama era, there was a big push and funding were given to develop new tools, techniques, new reagents and things like that to cover more and more patient population for precision medicine. That, okay, I'm giving this drug to the patient and he will respond. The oncologist will know. But unfortunately, it didn't pan out to be like that. Only 20% patients, as we speak today, are being covered with precision medicine. And the large database generation didn't help. Large data, genome sequencing, and all those things. We are doing that for 15 years. So there is an urgent need of tools that can identify the patient who will respond to the drug. So my small niche and my small contribution is I took one class of drug and said that, okay, if you do this test, which is a simple immunohistochemistry $150 test, patient will know whether he will respond or not, because he will take 3 months to know that. And if with this test, he will know upfront. And this class of drug is used extensively, so it has a lot of clinical implications. And there is a new class of drug coming up, ADCs, where this drug is being used. So we are talking to pharma that can we use this one in our clinical trials. So what we want to do from here now is get some funding, we are trying to broaden our patent base also, and then look for the exit. The way we look our exit is go to the diagnostics company. We are talking already, and ask them to be either partner or license it out or merge it up, merger M&A kind of situation, And so far we have got decent, but till the time I am not, the exit is not there. It is not there, basically. So we are working on that, and I hope this funding will cover me for 1 year, and within 1 year, we will have either more funding or exit.
Okay. And, usually when medicine, the FDA is involved in typical, where are you at within that process? Because sometimes that's a longer process for approval and all that. Where are you within that process? So
this is a very good question, Jerry. And I'm really impressed that you brought it up. It was not there in my mind. So there are two types of immunohistochemistry test or the laboratory, these kind of tests. The one is laboratory developed test. For that, FDA is not required. Any diagnostic company which will pick up my license or take my technology, they will run with it. But if they want to develop it as a FDA-approved drug, I can work with them, or I can, if I have resources, I will start the process of FDA. The bar for FDA approval, of biomarker is very, very low, because it does not interfere with the patient's health, basically. It either helps them or not help them, basically. So once it is FDA approved, then that is a little bit more respectful. But laboratory developed tests, 90% of tests are laboratory developed tests right now.
That's good to know and helpful to know. So let's talk, being we're in that kind of area, let's talk about your traction. I mean, what you have going on right now with partner companies and where you're at traction-wise.
Oh, one big diagnostic company, and at this stage I cannot name them. We have been working with them for the last 2 years. They wanted more human data, human patient data, and so we have provided them like 2 months ago. So one of the things that has happened is during the COVID crisis, no diagnostic company wanted to talk to us because their focus was only COVID. So we just lost some time there. But now they have came back, and we are working with them and see how it goes. There are some new initiatives that we have started, and early stage discussion is on.
And of course, as opposed to a typical startup, model. Go-to-market strategy is a little bit different because your go-to-market strategy is working directly with the pharma industry, correct? You're not really going to individual, consumers. You're working directly with that. So you have, this kind of probably brings me something into your team. I mean, obviously you have incredible credentials, but you have a team that's probably working on that. And just talk a couple minutes, a minute or two about your team that you have.
When we realized that in around 2010-11, we got Boston University Technology Development involved in that. And they got a founder CEO for us who is not working with me right now, but he was a very high profile CEO and who really organized the company. And I brought the technical part and he brought the business part. So we have a business development director right now. She has worked in the diagnostic company for 20 years. Actually, she has worked with Quest Diagnostics for 20 years. She has connections all over the place. So she is the biggest asset right now. For science part, I have a fantastic network of oncologists, and 2 of them are in our board, scientific advisory board. And we have a immunohistochemistry, that is our technology. That person is there on board. He's an MD, PhD, excellent person. And then we have a statistician. So we have a team of people who are specialized in science part, and we have people who are doing work with me very closely in the business side.
Yeah, and it's quite impressive. So obviously that information is on the platform.
Yes.
So people can look at your deck and see your team. And it is very impressive, if I do say so myself. Yeah. Very impressive. So, you talked a little bit about the exit and where you're at. Obviously, when it comes to the testing and drugs and medical field, a lot of times the revenue doesn't happen. Even sometimes there's an exit prior to revenue occurring. So talk about what you envision for the next 1, 2, 3 years, and what you hope to accomplish there, and what type of exit you feel you can get from that.
So, Jerry, one of the things in the cancer area is this test is cheap. It's not a $4,000, and payers are waiting for this kind of test. Imagine a model where the payer has to pay for 3 cycles of therapy. That costs around $20,000. And the 40% patient does not respond. You can do the math right here. But with a $150 test, what you are saying is this patient will respond or not respond. So payers have no problem. Oncologists love it. I have been working with oncologists all of my life, most part of my adult life. They love it. And it is a very easily transfer of technology from my company to any other diagnostic company. So what we are seeing is we, as a revenue model, if they have a good sales force, they can ramp up, and market penetration of 50% of the market share has been shown recently in this area of technology to be achieved within 5 years, So which is very impressive because adoption comes very quickly. Once they know that this test is available, this is reimbursed, and this is working. And this is a day and night kind of assay, So there is no ambiguity. So we think that we will, the way I envision my exit is, I will get a kind of term sheet from a diagnostic company. 1 month from now, 6 months from now, or a year from now. That's what I'm expecting. And that will have upfront payment, milestone payments, and some revenue stream in the future.
And what is your ask? What is your ask? And then what are you planning on doing with those funds?
So the ask is, yes, thank you. Ask is $1 million right now. So first and foremost, what I want to do is consolidate my patent around. We want to basically renew our patent with a much more scientific data that we have generated in the last 4 or 5 years. So that will increase the length of my my patent basically. Duration of my patent is right now around 2031 or something like that. So that we want to extend. We want to have this company up and running with the burn rate increasing now, because I am working with 3 consultants who are charging me $1,000 an hour, literally. They are high profile, high powered people, and they are fantastic. So that is going on there. And I'm doing a small scale study that will also go side by side, because we believe that unless you generate data, your product loses its value and vitality, basically. Produce more data, it is more vital. And I have space to increase laterally now. Vertical increase is not there, but lateral increase, different tumor types, different patient population, increase the value of the product.
Sure.
And one very important thing that I have missed so far, this new class of drug has given us the fresh lease of life. If I have more money, I will start working on that. I have already started working on that, but that will be ramped up, basically. So that future program will be also taken care of in this. This is a 1-year budget.
Well, that's fantastic. And again, Ajit, your passion just clearly shows through. And that's an important thing for anyone that's looking at startups and founders. And, I have to commend you on that passion. Is there anything else you can think of that we really haven't covered that you'd like to share here to wrap it up?
No, Jerry, thank you very much for your time. And I will be more than happy to interact with any investor and discuss with them apart from being in a very formal setting, informal setting. And I'm just doing only one thing: how to commercialize this. There is nothing else that is in my mind, So that is all I would like to cover here.
Well, we greatly, I think I could say we greatly appreciate what you are doing. Anytime we're dealing, everyone's been touched by cancer in one way or the other. So, appreciate what you and your team are doing, and, wish you the best with that. And again, this information will all be available, on the Startup Steroid platform, as well as your deck and the other information for your company. So we encourage people to take a good look. And again, Ajit, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Jerry. It's really a pleasure. And startup steroids like platform, we really need them for one simple reason. We do not have much idea how to get into the finance and financial component of the world, basically, So sure. Guiding me through is a big deal for me. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you, Ajit.
Thank you.